Happy Friday. Today I'm going to talk about stretching, and I know that when you are pressed for time and if you don't even like working out, the thought of actually putting time into stretching is kind of torture, and I have to be honest with you, I really don't like to stretch. It's hard for me to go from finishing a workout and to thinking, okay, now I need to put the time into stretching. So a few years ago, I thought, okay, well, what is one stretch that I could do? And I started experimenting with different types of stretches. If I was just going to stretch once a day or just after I work out, what would that stretch be? And I found that the best one is a pigeon stretch. And the reason why is it because it addresses the key areas that are problems of our flexibility. A lot of people think their hamstrings are tight. You're like, oh, you try to touch your toes and you're like, oh, I can't reach. It's really the problem with your lower back muscles. Your lower back muscles get tight because in our culture today, so many of our jobs are sedentary. We're sitting at desks, we're in cubicles, we're not moving very much. So our hip muscles get tight, and then our lower back muscles get tight, and then our hamstrings get tight. So if we can really work on increasing the flexibility of the hip muscles, everything else kind of starts to fall in place. So for pigeon stretch, and I'm going to show you two variations of this, but how you typically get into this stretch, you can start on your hands and knees, hands underneath the shoulders and knees right underneath the hips. And I want you to reach your right leg back and pull it through so that your right toe is near your left hand, okay? So it's easy in this stretch to want to sit on your right hip bone, kind of fall over. What you want is an equal pull, so you're going to take your left hand, pull yourself over, so you're not totally on the right hip, left hip, not totally on the right. So you've got equal pull here. And from here, you can walk your hands a little bit forward and start to press down. And you're going to feel the stretch in your left hip flexor right here. Okay, so that's anterior, the front of the body, flexibility. And you're also going to feel it in the back area of the right glute and the lower back on your right side. And you're going to press down. And as you get more flexible, if you do this stretch every day, you're going to eventually be able to walk further and further down until you can even get your chest on the floor. Okay, so some people really, really struggle with the hip flexibility. It's something that's built up for years. You might not even be able to get into that position. So let me show you another way you can do this. So what you're going to do is just sit down, calm your feet, and I want you to take your one leg in front, so we kind of have this L shape of our right leg here, okay? From here, you're going to put your hands on the ground and kind of propel yourself up. You're going to push up, okay? So from here, you're going to scooch that left leg, inch it back, inch the toe towards the back of your mat or towards the back wall, okay? And now we can focus on kind of spreading out. Bend your elbows out to the side. Try to push the left hip down, the right hip a little bit out to the side. But again, you're not sitting on your right sit bone. You're not all the way over on the left side. It's this nice balance. And as you do this every day, you'll start to develop what's called proprioception, which is your awareness of the body. And you're going to start to feel those if you're off balance, if you're sitting too much on one side or the other. But what this will do is really increase the flexibility of your hips. So 5 years ago, I was personal trainer full time, and I was teaching 3 exercise classes a day. I was just super active during the day. And I switched careers. I went from personal training to a desk job in finance. I went from sitting for 8 hours a day. I'd never done that before. I started getting the worst lower back pain. I started doing this stretch because over the next couple of years, that back pain was really uncomfortable, and I didn't know really what was causing it. I thought my hamstrings were pretty flexible. So again, I experimented and tried to find some stretches that I knew I could do. And this one, just time and time again, has always proved to be my go-to and given me great results. And I also use this throughout my whole pregnancy. So you're going to do one stretch a day. Do the pigeon stretch. Do it for at least 30 seconds on each side, and you will see better flexibility.